Cleveland police are investigating after a 3-year-old was shot inside a home on Carson Street last night. And the night before that, a 14-year-old was killed on East 245th Street in Euclid. The Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Office says Jalen Lamar was shot in the head and the chest. Euclid police are asking anyone with information on that deadly shooting to call. And Courtney, it feels as though we've been talking about the surge in gun violence in Northeast Ohio all year.
We have, but what happens after the crime tape comes down and the funeral's over? Many victims of these shootings are young adults leaving behind an agony only felt by grieving mothers. Tonight, you'll hear from 2 of those mothers who have an important message.
I woke up and I heard gunshots and I'm like, oh my God, that's close. And I waited for a few minutes and I heard several more gunshots.
In the early morning hours of July 30th.
And I see a body in my neighbor's driveway. And I literally started screaming.
Janet Foster ran outside her home
because Vontae was not in his room.
What she saw is every mother's nightmare.
And I kept begging him to hold on, hold on.
The body in her neighbor's driveway, her youngest son, 22-year-old Delvante King.
That's when I see my other son.
And just steps away,
my other son was on the ground, like facing, like in between the car and a sidewalk, so he's laying on the street.
It was Janet's second youngest son, 26-year-old Dominique King, both shot in front of their mother's home.
I ran over to Devontae and telling him to hold on. And then it's like, I ran over to Dominique. So I'm like in between trying to see, who to help. Just back and forth. And I'm screaming at that moment for help and no one came out to help.
In the end, Janet nor doctors were able to save either of her boys. The end result, a double funeral.
I just wanted to die.
I hate to hear the sirens. I probably heard the siren to get him. And I didn't know it was him.
It's been almost 2 years since Michelle Bell lost her son, 33-year-old Andre Brown. He and his best friend were in a vehicle in Collinwood in February of 2019 when both were gunned down. Andre died the next day. Michelle tells me she found a single bullet wound in her son's body. Both of these mothers say their sons' homicides remain unsolved.
I know it's somebody that we know. I know that.
And both women now left to cope with insurmountable grief.
Sometimes I don't get out the bed. I stay in bed for like 3 or 4 days straight.
Janet, now diagnosed with PTSD, anxiety, and depression. The haunting flashbacks keep her up at night.
Every time I drive home from work, I have to look at Stevenson. I can't drive on Stevenson.
Michelle was forced to retire early from her longtime management position with the IRS.
This is a new normal for me.
She soon turned her pain into purpose, creating a nonprofit to help families and mothers touched by gun violence.
And just talking amongst ourselves and other families and mothers.
It's called Impact Cleveland.
That are experiencing the same things.
And it focuses on prayer as a means to cope.
That keeps me going.
These mothers now driven to spare others from the unspeakable grief they now feel. To anyone thinking about picking up a gun,
get rid of them. You don't have to have guns to solve issues, If you angry with somebody, just distance yourself for a while.
They also have a message to mothers whose children could be the next shooter.
We have to tell them why not to do it and explain to them and show them and be the model, the role model, an example that they can follow, and helping them to understand, someone loves you. You can love yourself.
Because once those bullets are fired, nobody wins.
When justice is served, I lost my 2 sons, and that parent's gonna lose their 2 sons as well.
I guess every mother's wish to, well, A, you don't want to bury a child, but B, you would like to say goodbye.
So the support group Moms Demand Action tell us Black people are 13 times more likely than whites to die from gun violence. Black children and teens are 5 times more likely to die from a gun homicide. Now, we've placed contact information for several local support groups that can help mothers and other family members touched by gun violence on our website. That's news5cleveland.com, and it's on our News 5 app.